And he's sitting there by himself. Probably I couldn't see anybody else. In the middle of his driveway, 50 feet.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the January community meeting. It's good to see everybody. I'm Kristen Milton, Director of Sales and Marketing here at the Breakers. I'll give you my report. We've been busy again in January. It's usually a quiet month for people, moving, of course. They're not as interested in slogging through the sleet and snow, but we have welcomed quite a few more people this month. Physical arrivals will be like 6 people, and we still have 3 people yet to come this week. So you'll see those new faces and welcome them as you always do. Invite them to sit and chat and join your table at dinner and all the things you all do as good neighbors. Does anybody have any question for me? You know, I always want to remind you that you can refer someone you may know, a family member, a friend, or just someone that you've met in a club or anywhere. And if you refer them to the Breakers and they do move in, 90 days after they've lived here, we will give you a rent credit of $1,000. So think about that for this new year. We did have more resident referrals that moved in this past year than I can remember in many years. So good. That's it. No questions for me? All right. Then I will hand it over to the next director. Just a moment. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Donna Pennycamp. I'm the Business Office Director, and I am responsible for all things money. Ching, ching.
Oh, they're going to shoot you.
Oh, why? Oh, I didn't realize how dangerous my job was. Everything is operating pretty status quo in the business office and with the front desk. If you don't know, for those of you who don't know, the front desk, the concierge and security team do report to me. We are recruiting for additional staff members at the front desk. That's going pretty well. I may have something to report soon, but nothing now. So everything is just operating according to plan. For those of you that are interested, Wine Club on Thursday. South African wines. We're going to support our South African neighbors. Any questions for me? Well, have a great day.
Yes, just stop it.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Good. Glad to hear. So I'm Roger Sanchez. I am the Plant Ops Director and also Housekeeping Manager. Start off with, I'd like to thank everybody who's putting in the work orders. That really helps us keep track of what's going on in the building, what trends we're seeing in apartments. So thank you for that. Anybody have any questions on how to place a work order? No? Just go down to reception, call them up, let them know what the issue is, and we'll address it as soon as we can. All right. Yes?
Some people have said that they'll send in a work order and it's not responded to as quickly as they would like. Could you give us some idea of, is there a priority in which things are taken, or what's a reasonable expectation for things? So like if there's something serious like a leak, that might take a different priority over some other issues. Can you say anything about that?
Yes, I can. Priority is, we're right now in the heating season, so no heats will take priority. Any water leaks, priority. Any plumbing issues, priority. So if you request a key and we have no heats or water issues or plumbing issues, unfortunately, we'll have to push that back. But my expectation is to complete work orders regardless of what the severity is within 48 hours.
Okay, and another thing is people have said that they'll put in a work order, but they don't get a response, a verbal response, one way or another, so they don't know if it's been heard. They'll report it to the front desk. I know Brittany says that she communicates it, and then sometimes they don't know whether they're gonna get a response. Is there any way you do a response other than just doing it?
Not at this point, but that's something we'd like to address moving forward. I think it's important to have communication, whether we're coming up at what time or if the work has been completed. So I'm trying to come up with different ways or different solutions to get that done. An example is when we get key requests, we were leaving them at the front desk and expecting residents to come by and pick them up. That has changed. We will be delivering the keys to the apartments. And there's a couple tweaks that we're going to do with that, but I'm not going to mention what they are just yet. But we will be taking them up to the rooms just to let the resident know that, hey, here's your key per your request, deliver it, have you sign off, and then move forward. But there is a couple of different things that I'm thinking about with notifying the residents when the work order was completed, a follow-up, if we did perform exactly what you needed us to do, or if we were unable to go to your apartment at that time.
Do you use text or email for that?
We like to stick to the work order system. That's the most effective way to communicate between reception, concierge, maintenance, and myself.
Sorry, but I have one more question.
Sure.
And that's regarding housekeeping issues. And I know the last time you said that you were recruiting for a new housekeeping manager because your plate is pretty full. Can you give us any feedback about where we are on that? And the other thing is about people that haven't had their apartments tended to for a couple of weeks and how they can get some action on that.
Yeah. We're actively recruiting. We're pretty close. I believe, I'm confident we have some good candidates lined up. As far as people not being serviced, I do apologize. That's why it's important for us to put in these work orders. That way we can keep track of what's going on within our community. That way, if I start seeing trends, whether it's in maintenance or in housekeeping, we could address it properly. And it's also, it keeps us on record of what we're doing.
Roger, in the library, we put in some work orders that haven't been taken care of. One is the desk drawers that don't work smoothly. I put that in weeks ago and followed up, still hasn't been done. We have 2 light bulbs out on the tables, and we have 2 chairs that need to have the legs tipped so they don't tear the carpet.
And this is all in the library?
Yes,
I'll look for those work orders and we'll address
Thanks.
them as we need to.
thank you.
In the back?
Yeah, can you just repeat the questions? We can't hear it.
Sure.
Also, when they're coming to your apartment, could they call you, because then they leave a notice on the door that they were there, and then they leave a notice that it's the second time and you have to put a new work order in. Well, first of all, they didn't come in my place, but anyway, that's no.
Yeah, at this point, we don't really have a good mechanism to call ahead of time, and that's something we're working on. The sheer vast of residents we have versus the maintenance staff, and the amount of work orders we have currently, we don't have a good mechanism to communicate. That's something that I have. That's something I take responsibility for, and we're going to have to improve on that.
It just takes a second to call.
That is correct. Yes.
I've been waiting to hear whether you got the chemicals to clean the rugs in the apartments.
Yes, we do. We have been cleaning carpets. She's asking about chemicals for carpet cleaning, and when they came in, we do have them. We've been cleaning carpets for quite some time now, for about a week and a half. Unfortunately, because we did not have any chems, we've fallen behind quite a bit.
Well, how do I get myself on the list?
Just call reception or stop by and fill out a work order, and we'll.
Oh, I just have to fill out a work order.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
The Residents Committee has put together a good number of suggestions for improving the elevator service. And I wonder how you're implementing them.
I have not sat down with any resident committee just yet, so I can't.
Well, yesterday they presented it, and there were several good things that may help this continuing problem.
Yeah, at the
So I
next.
hope that, we'll start working on them.
So right now I don't have any information what came out of those resident community meetings. When I do have an opportunity to sit down, I will, see what's out there. Yes.
Regarding that, about the elevator, I don't see Dick Whitaker, he's the chair of that committee, but we do have several ideas about ways things can be helped. And we would like to be able to meet with the group that's working on the elevators. And I'd like you to know, should we be giving you that list first? Or would you like us just to make an appointment with you and then give you the list? What order would you like that to be taken in?
To be honest, I'm not quite sure. I'd like to sit down with the committees if I'm invited to, and then we'll see but it really depends on what times these committees meet. I'll be more than happy to sit down with everybody.
Great, that's great. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you, we had issues with pool sanitation and housekeeping, and you guys handled it beautifully. And I would just like to thank you and congratulate you on it.
Thank you.
Garbage chute problem.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you. Can you repeat that?
Garbage chute problem. Do you deal with the garbage chute problem?
Yes, I'm not quite aware of exactly what garbage chute issues we're having.
On the 15th floor, there's a tremendous updraft. When you open the chute, the debris comes back in your face and on the floor. Oh my God.
We'll have to address that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll take a look at it. So I'm going to hand it over. Thank you for your questions and your patience with maintenance and housekeeping, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Molly Nornberg. I'm the Director of Resident Programming. I handle programs and transportation, a lot of the activities and events that go on in the breakers. So to give you a little peek at what's coming in February, we have 5 very fun trips coming up. A lot of them are actually free trips, which is even better. So February 2nd, we're going to DuSable Museum, which is a free trip. The sign up is downstairs now. On the 9th, there are 2 trips, one for the low vision group, and then in the evening, they're going to Illuminati's for pizza. On the 16th, we're going to a fairly new business called Cuddle Bunny. It is a bunny cafe where you can just go be with animals and cuddle bunnies for a couple hours. And then on the 23rd, going to the Field Museum, which is another free trip. So Shantae has put together a great list of trips looking for all those free days out in Chicago. Some fun events we have coming up are on the 10th. We have a new group coming to the Breakers. They are the Saddle Shoe Sisters. And so they're a very fun and jazzy group recommended by one of our sister communities. On the 13th, all you football fans know we have the Super Bowl, so we'll be having a Super Bowl watch party again in our video room. On the 14th is our rescheduled date for Andy and Ellie, also known the Chicagoland Duo, and so they'll be here on February 14th doing some love songs for us. On the 23rd, we have a presentation about lakefront carvings. It's actually a friend of one of our residents here, Rana Jacobs, so she helped connect the two of us for this wonderful presentation. And then on the 26th, everybody's favorite, we have our Girl Scout troop coming back into the building to sell Girl Scout cookies. So besides all those fun events, some other things I want to put in your ear is, if you have noticed on the buzz the past week, I'll say, is it seems that we have all of our troubles sorted out, knock on wood, for Touchtown Live, which is our Breakers Channel 2 system. Right now, we are currently live streaming our community meeting upstairs. We'll also play it again recorded, but the live feature is now working well, so knock on wood that it continues to do so. But great to know I'm sure we have at least one person upstairs watching the meeting. Some other things coming up, we have Candygrams. If you all don't know what Candygrams are, they are a fundraiser that we do in our program department. And we sell little bags of candy with a nice note. They cost $1 each or 6 for 5. We'll be selling them again on February 3rd. And then the last thing I'd like to mention is to please, please, please sign up for your bus trips. If you know you're going to go to Jewel Osco or Old Orchard Mall, please sign up so that Sterling knows to wait for you. If you get caught by an elevator or you're running a couple minutes late, he won't know to wait for you if you're not signed up. So please sign up. Does anyone have questions about programming or transportation?
Yeah, Molly?
Yes, Ruth?
I know we did it over the holidays, but I was wondering, if people are interested in ever having, sing-alongs anymore.
So,
We
yeah.
did have it a little bit over the holidays, and I realize we're still mask wearing, but we did it over the holidays, even mask wearing. So, I'm wondering if people would be interested in that anymore, and if they are, if that could be
Okay, so Ruth had asked or brought up about sing-alongs here at the Breakers. She said we had a number of them in December around the holidays, which is very true. And I will tell you, I've been looking for the past year for a new sing-along leader. I have a couple prospects of a possible new sing-along leader, so I'll keep going after those. But we had found out that our previous sing-along leader unfortunately passed away in the past year. And so when reaching out to her, it was unfortunate, but she was not there to be reached out to. So we are still looking for a sing-along leader. And so hopefully we'll get those back going monthly. Any other questions about programming? Don?
You have some trips on Saturday to a movie theater. Is there any way you can have the list of the movies and the times?
Yes, so Don,
You can't go without knowing where you're going.
yes, I agree. Don had asked about on Saturdays, our other bus driver, Jim, he goes out 2 Saturdays a month, and one of the places he goes is to the movie theater. Right now, we are going to Regal Webster Place Cinemas, which is a little bit south of us at the Breakers, a little southwest, and they post their movie times on Wednesdays. Our signups go out on Monday, and so then on Wednesdays, I print out the movie times and stick them in the book. On Mondays, they have nothing listed. So I have been putting the movie times in the book on Wednesdays. You can always check back on Wednesday if you would like. But we've also heard of the movie theater we used to go to in Evanston reopening. And so I have been looking, we haven't heard a date of a reopening, but they've been bought by a new company. And so that would be our preferred movie theater, as it's by a lot of other shopping that we go to. So for now, we're at Regal Cinema, but maybe we'll be changing once that opens. Rana?
Yeah, what about the Century on University Park?
So
They're earlier, so I'm saying.
Rana asked about the Century movie theater and at what their earliest showing is. I don't know it off the top of my head, but Jim and I, we looked at many, many movie theaters, and a lot of them, just because not a lot of people are going to the movies, a lot of movie theaters aren't starting showings till 3 o'clock. So that's kind of how we ended up at Regal Webster Place, is they do have 11, 11:30, 12, 1 o'clock showings. Okay, any other questions? Okay, oh, sorry, yeah, Joe.
Yeah, I know when I first came here, like that subscript on the channel 2, they have the temperature, et cetera, et cetera. You used to have wind speed. What happened? Go on.
Okay, so Joe said that on our channel 2, on the bottom there, it used to say the wind speed, and it no longer says the wind speed. I am unsure. I can look into it. I don't control where it automatically inputs the temperature, so I can check about why wind speed is no longer there.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it, so thanks for bringing it to my attention. I'll check it out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Good morning, I'm Christina Elger. I am the Director of Hospitality and Residential Services. I just have a couple things. Masks, I received a limited supply of masks from the aldermen. So if you are in need of a KN95 mask, I have some down in the office. If you stop by the concierge desk and leave your apartment number and name, I will make sure they're delivered to you. Usually they come out in the evening. Or you can leave me a voicemail or send me an email and I will make sure that one is sent to you. I also found out yesterday that you can obtain 3 free KN95 masks from the grocery stores, Walgreens, CVS, several pharmacies. They're going to be coming out as of Friday, is what the news is saying. So I know next week that there's Breakers Buzz, or the bus goes to CVS and Walgreens, so you can definitely stop at those locations and pick up your 3 free masks. The resident data forms have been delivered. I'm updating all the records to assure that we have all the proper contact information for any of your emergency contacts. They were delivered to your door, so make sure that you complete them and deliver them back to the concierge desk. There's been some updates in the library, such as a new library desk. There's some bookshelves were moved. We're in the process of doing some other updates. You'll see some new signage coming, so there's some definite things happening in the library. Back a few months ago, I sent out pet information. If you are the owner of a pet and you finished and completed that and turned it back in to me, I appreciate it. If you haven't and you own a pet and you don't have that document anymore, let me know and I will make sure that that gets out to you. We need this in the event that something may happen where you need to be transported from the community. We need to know who your emergency contact is to take care of your pet. So make sure that you get that updated. Roger and I are currently management to come out and do some educational opportunities over pests in the building. We don't have any dates, times, or any specific educational opportunities yet, but watch your Breakers Buzz for some more information regarding pest management education opportunities. If you have pests in your apartment that you need to have addressed, you can always call the concierge desk. They will enter you in the pest management book, and pest management comes out on Mondays to do any of their treatments. Any questions?
Yeah, we wanted to know on that sign-up sheet why you need our social security number.
That was on there before, and I just took that same information. If you don't choose to provide that, you don't have to. The question is on the resident data form, it asks for your social security number. If you don't want to include that, you don't have to.
Christine, assuming you're the right person to ask, in the interest of transparency and safety and health, could you please give us the number of residents who currently have COVID and the number of residents who have recovered from COVID, and then also the number of staff that are out sick with COVID?
0. We have no staff, residents or staff currently have COVID. The answer is 0 on both fronts. We have no one. Off the top of my head, I'm going to tell you less than 1%, maybe 2% of the entire population of residents had COVID at any given time, but currently there is no one.
Okay.
For staff, I think there was maybe 4.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Regarding COVID, when people do home testing, there's not any particular way that you're informed of that or whatever. Can you say something about if people home test and find a positivity, what they should be doing?
So the question is if you home test for COVID and you come positive on a home test, what should you be doing? If you test positive for COVID on a home test, you should contact me immediately. We will make arrangements with you to let you know that you need to quarantine in your apartment following the CDC guidelines. Your meals will be delivered free of charge during the time in which you're in quarantine. If a resident doesn't tell me, there's no way for me to know, and that resident could be in the community. So it's very important that if you are home testing and you test positive, contact me so that I can go over the guidelines with you.
Do you have a way to get the PCR testing after somebody does test on a home test? Because there are a lot of false positives.
Yes,
So they would need.
That's already happened.
Yes, if you test positive and you want a PCR test, I do have a lab that will come out and test you. It is taking quite some time. I will tell you, some people have waited 7 to 10 days. The labs are very inundated, so it takes some time before the lab can come out. But in that time, you would need to quarantine. Any other questions, Clarice?
Regarding bed bugs, can you give us any idea how many units have been affected by bed bugs?
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say less than 10, but I don't have the numbers here with me.
Thank you.
All have been treated, everyone has been treated. We're now on the follow-up treatments or follow-up inspections for bed bugs.
And we are returning to the quarterly inspections.
Norm had brought up a point. We are returning to the quarterly canine inspections. So you're gonna get a memo at the next quarter go round of the canine inspections so that we are gonna stay on top of that so that they are every quarter coming to every single
We
apartment.
just couldn't do them because of
Good.
the pandemic.
Good.
Okay, any other questions? All right, have a great day.
Thanks, Christina. I'm going to start with reading, and I appreciate your time, with reading a response to an email because probably at the top, not probably, at the top of everyone's list is everyone's health, well-being, and COVID. It's a big conversation, even though things seem to be taking a turn right now and calming down a little bit, it's still a big concern for this population and all of us too, even our workforce. But here's a response to an email, and I want you to listen to this response, okay? Because it covers a lot. Any and all precautionary measures have been taken and continue to be taken to stay in compliance with federal, state, and local requirements. There are also additional local City of Chicago measures and mandates regarding vaccine verification requirements for restaurants and any other venues serving food, such as our community. These details and how we are and continue to be compliant have been shared, distributed, and provided to all residents, families, and posted throughout the community for our guests. That's these signs and flyers that you have seen, explaining the vaccine mandates in common areas, dining room, etc. Masks are and continue to be required at all times while visiting any space at the breakers for everyone. There are no existing federal, state, or local enforceable mandates at this time that would require vaccine verification of ordinary guests to our community, someone visiting a loved one in the privacy of their apartment. We are and continue to take all the necessary precautions and appropriate measures in a continued effort to keep our residents, guests, and staff safe during this difficult time. Any questions about that statement? I promise you that not a day goes by, and I say poor Christina because she's been at the front line of helping with the testing, the PCR, the clinics, and the phone calls. And we get phone calls when we're doing this testing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't care if it's Saturday, they're gonna call us to say there's a positive test, you need to know. So we're doing everything we can to keep the community safe within the confines and within what's provided to us from local, state, and federal officials. We are in no position whatsoever to impose our own mandates of visitors and guests of this community. We are not a regulatory body. We are just a senior living community that's following the guidance provided to us and trying to stay compliant and stay safe. So we cannot become the vaccine police. We are not the vaccine police. So the requests that are being made of us to put an employee at a desk at the front lobby to stop everyone and check vaccine cards and no one should come in here, it's not possible. We don't have that level of authority. That's not our role. However, within the community, we do have that authority. That's why this was broken down and extended to all common areas, not just the dining room, the theater, the game room, any area where people may congregate that we cannot guarantee that someone in there is vaccinated. I'll give you an example. All the staff has been educated and taught how to politely approach the conversation because some people get offended. But yesterday was a good example. There were family members in the suburbs. Once they were seen, one of the dietary staff walked over very discreetly and politely in the corner and asked, "Can I make sure you're vaccinated?" And they did. They showed them the vaccines. Everyone was okay. They enjoyed coffee and they kept going. The dining room is the same way. If someone outside of our community were to visit, the staff has been well trained on how to validate and verify that they are vaccinated. That's pretty much where we are right now. On that same front, Saturday, I was with some folks in a meeting Saturday. What we're talking about is, again, going back to something we've done already, and we're just gonna have to figure out the details. We haven't even talked about the details and logistics of it. And for me, for you, for a lot of us right now, with a lot of this, it seems like you're just chasing your tail sometimes. So what we're gonna do is we're working on a whole house testing program. Because from just learning from what we're doing, if we don't get a good picture, we can't isolate a certain group of people, I think we're just gonna continue chasing our tail, even though we've done very well. I wanna make sure we get a handle on anything that does exist quickly. But it takes a little bit of planning and logistics to do 400, we did 604 the last time we did this. So we are working on whole house testing and offering of boosters, vaccines, and some other monoclonal antibody treatments. Some of you have read about a lot of this stuff. It's all coming back, and we're gonna offer it all to you. You're gonna hear about it. If you remember the clinics, it's a big event. It takes all day, and it's a lot of fun actually too. So thanks, Molly, for making it fun, but we will be planning some more, and you're gonna hear about those in a continued effort to keep identifying where our risk lie or any individuals. All I have to ask of everyone here, and please kindly remind your neighbor of the rules of the mask wearing, because as management and on behalf of the managers and the directors here, it's really hard when you're trying to do what you do and you're getting backlash the entire way. And, you know, for us to get yelled at about people's individual choices and people's choices not to listen, I just don't think it's appropriate. Not everyone listens, not everyone follows the rules, but it's not us. We're not allowing them to break the rules. We're not directing them to be belligerent. Why are you yelling at me? I'm just being honest up here right now. We're doing everything we can. Whatever you can do to help each other with a friendly reminder, you know, be polite. I'd appreciate it. We would appreciate it. We can't be everywhere all the time and be blamed for someone's individual choices. Think about that. So I just want you to be cognizant of everything we're trying to do, we continue to do, but also be mindful of not shooting the messenger sometimes. Okay? The second thing on here is Christina. She's working really hard with the aldermen. I'll tell you, they gave her 200 masks. We have almost 400 residents. It's not even enough for half. He was very kind and generous because he knows who we are and it's a large population. However, she shared the details of what's changing, and that is that providers in the community are going to be able to, and they'll know who got what. They do it through your social and your address. Once you get the 3 from CVS, Walgreens, etc., That's all you'll get from the federal government. So just a story for me, I ordered the ones online in the computer that the Biden said on TV take 7 to 10 days. I'm on 2 weeks. I haven't even heard of a peep yet. I just did it to experiment. I have the mask. I don't need them. I just did it to see what happens. I'm on 2 weeks and I haven't heard a peep yet. Not even an email, not a thank you, you're not getting anything, no mask, nothing. I just did it to see. On the day that it opened, actually, on the first day. So you're better off with CVS, Mariano's, or Christina. The website doesn't seem to be delivering right now. That's the free mask website. The third thing on here are the quarterly inspections. I thought she should mention that because during the pandemic, we had a hard time getting people in the buildings. We were only allowing emergency people. If it was an emergency leak, the everyday vendors, contractors, they weren't allowed in the buildings. And that was to keep you guys safe because we didn't know who they are, who's vaccinated, who's positive. Now that things are getting back in the swing of things, this was the first whole house inspection. It wasn't even that bad. It wasn't that bad. But going forward, I'm comfortable. It'll be even less units, and doing it quarterly gives us an opportunity to stay on top of this, but it won't take us forever this time, I promise, unless we go into another quarantine. But the quarterly inspections for pest will continue. That was on here. Recruitment. He didn't give you all the details, Roger didn't, but he has 2 or 3 people that he thinks are very good candidates, and he has 2 other candidates to interview today, and by the end of the week, he has to propose. I don't know to who, but he will make a choice of candidate, and we pray and hope that it works out and they come on board soon. So he will be making a selection on the candidates he has at the moment. Number 5, I have a long list. Continued community improvements. We had a meeting here last week with all the big bosses, and it is everything I've been telling you. Everything I've been telling you about improvements to the community. I just, this morning, before I came up here, I got to figure it out. We just got an email about the second, it's a lot of paperwork, but the second batch of laundry equipment. I kind of told you that we're going to try to every quarter do a new laundry room equipment. 7 came first, now we're working on the next batch of laundry equipment. The meeting last week was to talk about this floor, this whole floor. When you talk about the showroom, when you talk about the game room, when you talk about the second floor, those are all the big projects. I don't have all the details. I have a lot of numbers and figures and contractors, things we're working on. I don't have all the details as to when and how. That's going to take some closing of some spaces, and we may have to shut these rooms down for a week or so. I don't know. We'll make sure that we open up other spaces, or we have enough going on elsewhere that you won't miss this room while we close this one. And so we'll figure this one out, but we'll have to navigate this remodel while it's taking place and we're living here. So those are exciting opportunities for improvement. And the clinics, the antibody treatments, the testing, we're very, very close to pulling the trigger on that, just coordinating the details and logistics to do the entire building all at once. And we're going to offer it, and people have asked, as much as we got to be careful not to overextend ourselves, and we try not to, we are going to be opening it up and offering it to the caregivers and to family members too. Because that is your closest circle and bubble. So if we're doing what we're doing and we're not testing those closest to you, I think we're missing an important piece. On the caregiver side, Christina's working on something that's really, really, really important. It's really important. And I said really 3 times. And that's the caregiver policy. We have a lot of people in this building that we don't know who they are. We don't know if they've been vaccinated. We don't know who they are. Put it this way, I don't even want to get into the details. Well, we're about to secure that and kind of start getting a handle on who these people are. We need to. We're supposed to know. Just like the dog situation. If there's a dog incident in this building, or if a dog bites somebody in that elevator, We're supposed to have paperwork on that dog. That's the first thing they ask us for. Where are the papers for the dog? Where's your pet policy? So everyone has to follow the rules. And as a provider and with responsibilities, we have to make sure we enforce the rules. So when it comes to this pet policy, when it comes to this caregiver policy, we are starting to go down that road. We may encounter some difficult conversations with folks, but it has to be done for everyone's well-being, the community, and again, it's well-written policy for a reason. We have to follow those policies, implement whatever's in there, and Christina's going through that process now. So if you have questions, just ask her. We'll go through it, we'll help you navigate it, or whatever you're missing or you need. It's not too much. It's just giving you a hand getting everything you need. That's everything I had on here except for one more thing. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
We've been missing Damir and expected him back today. Is he back?
He's been back. He came back. Yeah, he's back.
Great, thank you.
Maybe he's hiding out on purpose. I don't know. But he's been back. He's back. I talked to him yesterday. I think it was him. She asked about the mirror, but he's been back. He's back. You saw him? Okay. Some folks did, some haven't. I don't know. Yes, ma'am. Okay, no more questions. Look, I'll share. Yes, ma'am.
This clinic that you're gonna open and about this testing and everything, do we, I mean, is every resident, people are fine, is every, problem, is every resident, have to be retested now and go through this, and clinic and antibody?
Her question is, in regards to the testing and the setting up of clinics, does everybody have to do it? We can't force anyone to do anything, but we recommend it. Right now, our biggest issue, even on the employee side, the few employees that she mentioned, whether it was 4 or 40, and it wasn't 40, it was only a few, but they were walking around like you or I, like nothing. One of them went home and was confused, sitting at home, like wondering what is going on. I feel fine. I want to come back to work. And we said, absolutely not. They have to produce a negative COVID test and sit home for a certain number of days before they're allowed to come back. So the challenge is you can choose not to be tested. I just don't think that's a wise choice right now. When it's free to you, we're bringing it straight to your door, why wouldn't you? You should. So we can't force it, but we highly, 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 highly recommend it, or all we're doing, it's like a flu bug. We're just keep spreading it to each other, and that's not good. So I would recommend it, but it's not mandated.
If you're tested and you're negative, then you don't necessarily have to go through anything else.
Her statement was, if you're tested and you're negative, you don't have to do anything else. Correct. All right, the last thing on here, as much as we hear, and it's been a great time right now, because on a good note, Kristen and her team, I don't even know how they do it, but they've been able to get a lot of new move-ins, a lot of new neighbors for you. They've done unbelievable things, like 14 in December and November. It's just hard to keep up, but it's a lot of traffic. It's not the time where people want to move, but some of us are looking at other options for many reasons. And this is an unbelievable option for people. It's affordable, location. It's not perfect, nothing is, even in my house, but it definitely works for you guys, and I appreciate you being here. On that note, even though, we sometimes think that you hear, the negative seems to sometimes be louder. It's always the case in life. But on a good note, there are a lot of websites out there, and there's a lot of information nowadays where people can't lie to you. They can't say, well, we're the best. All you have to do is go on the internet and read anything you want, and all their dirty laundry is on the internet, and you can see everybody's comments, all of that. We get reviewed a lot. We have an internal organization that calls some of you to check on, see how you're doing. If you remember that, when you move in, they call you when you move out, and they call you periodically during your residency here. So there's always a pulse check. There's always someone calling, seeing how things are going with the residents that reside here. There are also independent organizations. US News, Place for Mom has ratings. These are people that talk to Kristen a lot. There's another one online. It's called caring.com. Kristen talks to them a lot when someone's looking for a place to live or where to relocate to. These individuals, they also do reviews and they get scores on all the providers they work with throughout the United States. This just came Friday? Was it Friday, Christine, I think? I don't know. Kristen has, I don't know if I shared it with Kristen. The caring.com folks and the caring.com entity itself, their reviews have shown, and it says, I'll read it. It's an excellence award from Caring Star and it's caring.com related to the positive ratings and reviews from seniors and their families, and congratulations to the Breakers at Edgewater Beach. So I'm happy to say, and it's you guys, it's Molly, Christina, Shantae, you know, all these guys, Kevin, every dietary person in the dining room, it's everyone that works here. But through their excellent work, through their commitment to you guys, Caring.com has recognized the Breakers as one of the top facilities in, you know, outstanding service. So good job. And I shared it with all of you because you may not be on the internet or Caring.com, but you should know that where you reside, and what the reputation of this community isn't always what you hear in the hallway. Okay? I just wanted to be positive, and I wanted to tell you, overall, based on this, based on that world outside of our bubble, it's an unbelievable place to live. And I'm happy to have you, and I appreciate your patience with all of us as we continue to navigate all this, whether they're upgrades, COVID, and every other thing we come across every day around here. Any questions?
New residents have to be vaccinated to move in here?
Yes, ma'am. And our staff, I think it started on November 15th. We are also on a vaccine mandate. If you're not vaccinated, you won't even make it to the drug test part. So it's everyone. The vaccine mandate impacted everybody. Yes, ma'am. The suggestion is that personal choice. If you're not comfortable being that close to people, sit tight, wait till everyone clears, and then return to your apartment. It's just like the grocery store. We don't have the space here to socially distance because of the number of people. The only thing we could do is limit the participation. And that's what Molly has to do to some of her sessions to try to help you guys with. However, we don't have imposed capacity limits anymore, if you remember that. The city and the state came out with mandates that said no more than 10 people at a time in this room, no more than 25 at a time. Those don't exist anymore. Those do not exist anymore. So it's whatever you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable in a space, you don't have to attend. If you're not comfortable in the elevator, don't get on. If you're not comfortable with the mad rush that's about to happen, go the other way or sit tight for 2 minutes. It's kind of a personal choice that, you know, we make when we're in different places. I'll stand back or I'll wait and kind of just not try to be so close to people anymore. Yes, ma'am. Everyone should be wearing their mask at all times. That's the policy, that's not even negotiable anymore. Everyone should be wearing their mask at all times. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Can you comment on what the other complaints are under oftentimes are the elevators themselves? Are there any cautious with what's going on and changes, and apparently the suppliers maybe there may not be supplies?
The elevators are all operational as we speak right now. We've only had 4 elevators for 36 years. the elevators have and continue to be an operational challenge with the size of the community. And we are engaging in conversations, and part of our meeting last week was how are we gonna navigate and go down that road to look at the systems, the operating systems, which is what I told you I was gonna do. It's how are we gonna look at the brains of the elevator to try to make them smarter, which is our best option right now, our only option. It's looking at the operating system and the brains of the operating system to see what we can do to make it more efficient.
Thank you.
No problem. And when I say that, I'll give you an example. If I'm taking the elevator from all the way up at the top of the building, why do I have to stop 8 more times when it's already full? Drives me crazy, that part, things like that. It's just, there has to be a better mousetrap right now. We just don't know what it is, but we are going down that road. We're looking at who we're gonna talk to, all of that. Regardless of cost at this point. Regardless of cost, that's something that's on the table to be assessed, looked at, and evaluated no matter what. More than a new TV. That would be the one thing that would make a lot of people very happy. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
We just don't know where it's going. We don't know what's available to us yet. We don't know what the answer is. We don't want to end this on an elevator note, but enjoy. Have a good one, all right?